G'day Aussie Bush Changers. No hat, I'm inside. Hope you're all well. I thought I'd just do a little bit of a video and show you what little farming exercise I'm doing at the moment. Mealworms for our chickens. Anyone that has reptiles know what mealworms are too. It's a great high protein food. A little bit on the fatty side, but if you plan to eat your chickens, I suppose it's good to fatten them up a bit. Anyway, I'll show you what I've done, and it might give someone else a bit of an incentive to create their own little farm, get self-sufficient with their mealworms for the chooks. Or if you, I suppose, are a bit of a greenie, you might even want to eat the mealworms yourselves. It's apparently higher protein than beef, but I think I'll stick to my beef. Okay, let's go to it. Now the first step was to get 2 containers of the same dimensions, length and width, which I've got one large one there and one smaller one. So you want the smaller one to be not as deep. And what happens is you will notice there's a series of holes along that line. That's for breathing, for ventilation. And the top one will sit on top. Now I'll just explain what I've done here. I've got a wooden frame, which you can see along here, and underneath this is a mesh, and I've screwed that in or stapled that into that. And the theory is what happens is your beetles will grow on the top here. They'll lay their eggs at the bottom of the substrate, and the eggs will fall through the mesh, or the fly wire in this case, and it will fall into the bottom there where you'll get your mealworms starting to grow in that substrate. So I can do a detailed breakdown of making one of these things if people are interested. But in the meantime, we're just going through the process. Now, mealworms, for those that don't know, are just a worm from the darkling beetle. He's playing dead, that one. Come on. Anyway, there's quite a few in there. They like to play dead when the light's on them. And then from that stage, they turn into the pupae. I hate pronouncing that word. Pupa, I call them. Pupae. And they are basically the stage just before turning into a beetle. And they wiggle their tails sometimes. So what I've done is they're ready for turning into beetles. And that now sits on top like that. And as you can see, the breathing hole there for the bottom ones. And then the top one will actually have a lid that I'll put holes in it. And that seals that one off. Now the substrate mix that I put in there is as cheap as you can go. As cheap as you can possibly go. You don't want it to be running your bank account down. So I've got just quick oats. I put 1 bag in for this, and I grabbed a sprinkling of just bran flakes, and some cornflakes, cheapy one, and just crush it up really small. And you want to have the particles small enough so that you can filter it out. I've got this for filtering it out, and separate it from your mealworms. It makes your job a whole lot easier. And I also got a little bit of wholemeal flour, whole grain. Any whole grain products is what the mealworms and the beetles and all that like to eat. Now you'll notice there's some apples in the top there as well. They need that to drink. You can't put a saucer in there for them to drink from, because they'll actually climb into it and drown. So they need to get their source from, the best source is generally a potato. Holds a lot of moisture and it won't rot very fast. Apples, they're a good source, but you've got to replace them pretty quick, a day or two, and put a new one in. So that's all our pupae in there, ready to turn into beetles. So the bottom bit is ready for the eggs to fall through. if I turn it up, you might be able to see the mesh underneath. I don't know. I'll probably see when I edit that you couldn't see anything, but anyway. And now that one's done, so I can put the lid on there and then grab my mealworms that are here ready to turn into pupae later. And I can easily grab them out and just drop them in the top of the other one, and away we go. So now I'm just going to put a couple of slices of apple and potato in there for them so they can have their drink, and away we go. There's 200 grams worth in there, which is round about in total from there, and the pupae's total was around 800 little mealworms, and they sell them in 100-gram lots, and they usually say about 200 mealworms per 100 grams because you count the substrate as well. So there we go. I don't know if I've forgotten anything, but we'll go from there and wrap it up. Any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to see how it's made, like I said, I'll make another one soon, and I can step through it with a video if you like. So there we have it, little mealworm farm. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just trying to do something a little bit different, keep you guys getting some sort of video content, and yeah, until next time, take care. Speak to you later. Ciao.